So guys, how do I look? I've got these sunglasses recently and it is quite sunny outside, so I thought for this video I'd take a different approach. You know, just something different for the camera, that's all. And plus guys, for VAR, I'm getting quite sick of it. Too many mistakes from VAR in week 10. There were penalties which I didn't think were penalties, and of course a disallowed goal for Arsenal, which I could not understand how that is clear and obvious. I mean, VAR is supposed to clear clear and obvious errors. You call that disallowed goal against Arsenal clear and obvious? Because I don't. Was it clear and obvious against Everton? No. Was it clear and obvious for the first penalty against Norwich? No. But that penalty for Crystal Palace, which Wilfred Zaha won, that's clear and obvious because it was not given by the referee and he booked Wilfred Zaha for diving and he clearly did not dive, and that's when VAR kicks in and gets it right. The referee booking Wilfred Zaha for diving, which he clearly did not dive, that is a clear and obvious error. But seriously, something is seriously wrong with VAR and somebody has to do something. But plenty to talk about. That 9-0 for Leicester City on Friday night, I still can't believe it. And yes, I think Leicester will have a chance of finishing in the top 4. So without further ado guys, here are my predictions for week 11 of the Premier League this season. So here we go. Arsenal v Wolves. I thought Arsenal had it in the bag against Crystal Palace, but unfortunately for them, the game changed when Palace won that penalty and Arsenal lost control of the game. Yes, Arsenal could and should have won that game with that late disallowed goal, which I can't understand why VAR would disallow it because there's clearly no clear and obvious error in the build-up. But don't let that hide the fact on what has been another lacklustre Arsenal performance. As for Wolves, I think they should have won their game against Newcastle, but on the back of their first half performance, which was below par, I think Wolves should be happy with the point. And also, Wolves have an impressive record against the top 6, so I definitely see Arsenal being there for the taking, and Wolves will look to take that opportunity. Not only because Arsenal are underperforming, but it's also because it is quite toxic. There is pressure on Unai Emery, and of course, the whole Granit Xhaka situation. I think most of you will be surprised about my prediction for this one. It's a risk, but I'm going for a surprise Wolves win. 2-1. Aston Villa v Liverpool. Against Man City, Aston Villa played very well, up until the point where they conceded in the first minute of the second half. So really, that was the cause of their own downfall. Liverpool, again, did not play at their best, but once again, they still find a way to win. This team just will not settle for just 1 point. Now that, I think, is a sign of Premier League champions. I think Aston Villa will try and play the same way as they did in the first half, but they better work on keeping it tight at the back, which is what they failed to do in the second half. But there's something about this Liverpool team that they just will not give up. They always seem to want 3 points more than just 1. So I think Liverpool will throw everything they've got at Villa, and I don't think Villa will be able to handle them. So my prediction is another Liverpool win. 3-1. Bournemouth v Manchester United. Much better from Manchester United. That is the best I have seen them play all season. In fact, it's the best I've seen them play away from home in months. I think that's how they should play for the rest of the season, and they could have a chance of at least getting a top 6 finish. So let's see if that will finally kickstart their season. As for Bournemouth, on a bit of a goal drought I have to say, they haven't scored in the last 3 games. Their attacking force seems to be misfiring at the moment, so Bournemouth have to do something about it very quickly. I think Bournemouth will score against Manchester United because United have a defence which I think is still leaky, but I think that win against Norwich will finally get Manchester United fired up, so I'm backing United to win 2-1. Brighton v Norwich. I felt Brighton were lucky to win that game against Everton, not only because of the own goal, but also because of the penalty that was awarded by VAR, which I can't understand why that was a foul. But for the overall performance, a victory is what Brighton just about deserved. They'll be buzzing in that dressing room, so they'll be fancying their chances against a Norwich side who are doing poorly at the moment. At the start of the season, Norwich were scoring goals, they were playing with quality, but right now, the goals are dried up and they just cannot buy a win anywhere. But there has to be a spark somewhere. If they can just find that spark, then they'll start looking like a team who will stay up. As for the game, I think Brighton will claim another 3 points. 2-0. Sheffield United v Burnley. Oof. This is a tough one. Burnley can be a difficult side to play against most of the time, but at times where they are beaten, they are just beaten by a team who are too strong for them. And that's exactly what happened against Chelsea. However, they've got to get back to basics quick. Besides, they've lost their last 2 games. Sheffield United claimed a thoroughly deserved point against West Ham, but this is going to be a very different task. Burnley will be tighter at the back than West Ham. They will also look to counter-attack, but I also think Sheffield United will look to do the same. I think both teams play in a similar way to each other, so this one's quite tough to call. But in my opinion, I think it'll be a fair result. 1-1. Watford v Chelsea. Well, Watford still can't win, huh? Well, against Chelsea, I really can't see Watford getting their first win of the season just yet. They kind of stopped the rot in a way, but now they just need to start scoring goals. I enjoy watching Chelsea. I like the way they play, I like their quality, I like their talent. I really enjoyed the way they play against Burnley. I think playing like this, they will finish in the top 4. See, Watford improved their defence in recent weeks, but I don't think it'll be enough to stop the attacking force of Chelsea. I think Watford will give it a go, but they might have to wait for that first win a bit longer. Therefore, I think Chelsea will win 3-1. Crystal Palace v Leicester. Crystal Palace were lucky not to have lost against Arsenal had it not been for VAR disallowing the goal. Still, had they had lost, it would have been really harsh on Crystal Palace because it was a very good team performance and they deserve credit from coming back from 2-0 down. Just shows how good they are away from home. So, Crystal Palace, brace yourselves for a very dangerous Leicester City side who have just run out 9-0 winners. I repeat, 9-0 winners. The biggest away victory in English top flight history. Now that's got me thinking that maybe, just maybe, Leicester City might finish in the top 4 this season. I mean, Leicester won the league a couple of years ago, anything can happen. Noting that Crystal Palace are wasteful when it comes to playing at home, I think Leicester City will punish them and win again. It's not going to be another 9-0, 8-0, 7 or 6, whatever, but the most important thing for Leicester is to win. 3-0. Everton v Tottenham. I feel for Everton, I really do. I did not think it was a penalty at all, but seriously though, Everton were the architects of their own downfall, I have to say. Still can't win away, and another inconsistent performance. Now it's back to square one. Marco Silva is still under pressure. On the other hand, Tottenham played much better in their game against Liverpool, should have nicked a point, but they just did not do enough. But a lot of positives to take. Let's see where Spurs go from here. Usually Everton are much better when they play at home, but I do have the slightest feeling that Spurs will nick something. Still, Everton will fancy their chances, Spurs will fancy their own, because neither team have been doing well recently. So that is why I am going for a draw. 1-1. Manchester City v Southampton. Southampton. I really feel for the Southampton fans. They had to endure such a miserable night. They pay that much money to watch their team play, and they watch their team get destroyed in such rainy weather. And neither player stood out in that game. Not one. I can't even name one player. Now they've got Man City, another team who are capable of giving them more torrid times. But once the players have a good look at themselves in the mirror, learn from their mistakes, and step themselves up in training, Southampton will eventually get back to basics. But after losing like that, it's not going to be easy to recover from a 9-0. As for Man City, unless it turns out a different Southampton team from Friday night, I expect Man City to take Southampton to the cleaners. I also think Man City will win and close the gap on Liverpool again. 4-0. West Ham v Newcastle. West Ham were lacklustre again in their game against Sheffield United, although they could have won it in the end, but even if they did, they wouldn't have deserved it. Although this game is a good opportunity for West Ham to win because they are playing against a misfiring Newcastle side who are struggling for goals. Not once this season had Newcastle scored more than 1 goal in any game. They might have a chance themselves against an inconsistent West Ham side, but I still don't see Newcastle posing much of an attacking threat to any team. If Steve Bruce can solve this problem as soon as possible, then Newcastle will become a difficult side to compete against. As for the game, I think West Ham will get back to winning ways and win 1-0. So there you have it, guys. Those are my predictions for week 11 of the Premier League this season. Hopefully I get something right. And plus, guys, that is actually it for this video. So if you like my videos, please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. Please leave a like and a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!